Yeah, boy. You know what time it is? It's the TLV Sports Talk Show. In your car, in your home, or on the phone. You know what time it is. We talk sports, we talk life, we make you visible. And tonight we got a special guest, but no stranger to TLV Sports Talk Show. Three-time high school head coach, state champion, Shelley Dearden from Ewing, New Jersey, Ewing High School. Welcome to the broadcast tonight, Coach. How you doing, Shelley Dearden?
Great. How are you, Randy? Thanks for having me.
Oh, and listen, it's our honor because a lot of people they don't even know your achievement, what you have done as a head coach, winning a state title, and I think it was in 1999 you won with the girls varsity basketball in Ewing, and then
Yes.
in 2012 you won with the boys state champion at Ewing High School. And what year was it that you won a state champion at the soccer team as a head coach?
1991.
1991. That's correct. So that
Yes.
began like that. Listen, can you just tell what an achievement? And and I did some research, and it states that you are the first coach in the United States of America to win three different head state championships with three different teams in the same school. You are the first, and
That's what
probably
they say. That's what people tell me. I don't really research those kinds of things, but
right.
I mean, that's what people tell me, and that's pretty cool. That's really neat to have that under your belt.
Well, listen, I've seen you in action with basketball. You know your X's and O's. That's for sure. You know how to
Thank
deal
you.
with the personalities. You know how to deal with the emotions. You know how to demand discipline and structure. And wow, just amazing. uh, as a coach, forget
Thank
the
you.
gender. Forget the gender. We're not talking about gender. We're just talking about as a coach. Simple as that. you know
when I took the boys job, I never thought of myself as the woman coaching boys. I just thought myself as a coach when it all happened. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody else around made it a gender thing. I just looked at it as coach.
Exactly. And but I remember when you took over with the boys, as far as the boys varsity in Ewing Township head
Right.
coach job, which was much needed. We're not going
Thank
to
you.
say any names or anything like that, but there was a lot of talent in Ewing High School before you took over as head coach, and there was certainly disappointment because of the lack of commitment, uh,
Mm,
and the this it was just ridiculous because you had talent there. I mean,
right.
we could go on and on and on with the players that came through you in high school prior to you coming in and coming on, even while you were coaching the girls basketball. Can you just tell our audience just how you got started with sports in general, and give us a little bit of history on yourself?
Well, I'm very fortunate. I have two parents that are very athletic. My father played AAA ball with the Phillies. My mom was a 3-4 sport athlete at Ewing High School herself. My dad was a 3 sport athlete. So basically, it was just my older brother played, my younger brother played. So it was just really inevitable that I had to do the same. So both my parents coach, my brothers coach. So it's just like in the blood, I guess you could say. And then I married into a sports minded family as well with my husband and his brothers and stuff like that. So I guess I just really been around it my whole entire life since I was young, athletics. So I think it was just in my blood from the get go, just from the start, that, I was going to do something with athletics. And I was blessed. I'll be honest with you, I was blessed with all that. I was lucky.
Certainly was. But can you tell our audience a little bit about? You said that your father played professional sports. Can you give us a little history on his name and
Hmm.
where he played
Sure.
and so forth and so on?
My father's name is Fred Walters, from Ewing, and he played for the Phillies for 10 years. Uh, you know, it was not unusual to have Phillies sitting at my kitchen table at night after a baseball game and things like that. They were the greatest times to hear the old stories and things from the past. And my dad played. He graduated high school in '55, so the late '50s. He went to University of Delaware. Got a scholarship there to play. Was an All-American, and then was drafted by the Philadelphia Phillies. So he played AAA ball for 10 years. So he stayed with it for a long time. And then he eventually, I believe, in his 10th year, he got traded to the Houston Astros for a little bit. But he came home shortly after that and, said it was time for him to come home. And my older brother and myself and my younger brother were born, obviously, at that point. And he came home and that was it. Like he coached Legion baseball for 31 years. So he never got out of the sport. He just stayed with it for a very long time.
Wonderful. That's a family generational
Yes.
DNA there. So that's a wonderful thing.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question here. Have you found that there's a difference in coaching in today's
Yeah.
uh, 2020 than 2000? If
Yes.
dealing with
Yes. I definitely think so. I think for a while there, I think we got to an era of time where everybody has to be satisfied for what they've done and not really earn what they've done. Does that make sense?
oh yeah,
Everybody gets a certificate for participating. Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets something for participating. And I think for a while there, we have softened up some of these athletes that think they should receive everything and not work hard for it. Um, but I have to admit, in Ewing, they are a different breed, and I was very lucky in knowing that a lot of the kids understood what it meant to earn it. I just think there's a lot going on out there that, like when we grew up, there was cuts and you had to go through the cut system and you had to go through all that, where I think nowadays everybody makes a team, or there's an A team and a B team, so everybody makes a team. And I think that's the difference of today's society than back in the day when we grew up. I also think kids can't think for themselves. Everybody's doing it for them. The referee, the umpire, the teacher, the coach. We played in the playground at, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, in the backyards. We were the ones who, the athletes were the ones who called the fouls, or we were the ones who called, fair ball, foul ball, in, out, safe, whatever it may be, whatever the decision was. And nowadays it's all done for them. And I think that's also a difficult thing that coaches have to deal with. And then you bring in the parents, but that's a whole different night to talk about.
yeah. I used to call certain parents helicopter parents,
Yes,
but
yes,
today, in today's 2020, I call them drone parents.
yeah,
Because it's just they're a drone goes every which way much quicker than a
yes,
helicopter. You know,
yes.
but
You don't have any allegiance as much nowadays than you did back in the day. And I think that, kids are going from one school to another, to another, to another. I mean, it's happening in high school. And if you do it in high school, you're going to do it in college. They're the stats say that. The data says, if you move in one place, you're going to move at another. And I think parents aren't satisfied with a lot of things and, make those decisions for kids at an age that it shouldn't be done. Earn it. That's how I feel. You got to earn it.
well, you're just echoing what other coaches that I've talked and spoken with in not only in the Trenton, Ewing, New Jersey area, but throughout the whole country. And especially right there, the people that we know in that area where you live in Ewing, New Jersey, and in Trenton, New Jersey. Uh,
Hmm.
I spoke with Coach Darrell Young, uh,
Right.
Trenton Catholic Cathedral High School, and people from gym work training, Dion Chu, and you're just saying the same thing that we all said. You and Kyle Sleepy Carmichael. We had this
Right. Yeah.
when we were younger. We competed and we learned how to play the game of basketball in the park. You know,
Right. Correct.
that, and that's where you got beat up. That's where
Yep.
you had to
The
wait.
older guys would take care of the younger guys. They would
Yeah,
beat you up and teach you how to play the game. And, that's not happening in today's day and age.
it's not. And today, if you tell a player to get back on defense, now you have to tell them why, where, how.
Yeah.
Be more descriptive because of
Yes.
the visual learning that they're on the tablets all the time. And I think their learning process, their cognitive thinking is not as sharp uh, as when we were coming up. And not only that, what you just said, as far as the entitlement. They feel as though
Hmm.
that they're entitled.
Yeah.
Like we got to give everybody a trophy because we want to make them feel well. Well, how about just earning the trophy or earning the first place and come back? If you don't
Yes.
get first place, you come back and you strive to become the first place individual or even as a team. So I think a lot of that competition. So, coach, have you heard players say? You might say, "Well, how come you didn't dunk on him? How come you didn't
Right.
drive on her and take her to the hole?" And the player says, "Oh, that's my girl. That's my guy."
You know what I tell them? That's your girl, that's your guy after the game and before the game. But during the game, there is no guy, there is no girl. There are no friends in between the lines.
And
They're your friends after, and if they're your true friends, they understand that.
yeah, yeah. See, we understand that. It's amazing how they don't understand that. I mean, the
No,
philosophy and oh, that's my guy. Or
no,
my
no.
girl.
And you know what else I think is really hurting? I think athletics, and it's happening not just with basketball, but it's happening, say, with baseball now, or soccer and everything else. Back in the day when you played AAU, you played on AAU because you made the team. Now, if you get cut, daddy can start a team, mommy can start a team, and everybody, there's like six different AAU teams coming from the same area. And it's not, the one true AAU team that came from the area, where the kids, the best of the best. Does that make sense?
Oh,
It's everybody plays.
you
Everybody
know
plays
what?
AAU, and it's not AAU. There's certain teams that are AAU, but it's not all AAU.
Oh, you just made somebody upset
Yes,
because
I did. Yes, I
you
did.
just you
But
just
it's the
rubbed somebody
truth.
the wrong way. But that's
Yeah,
the truth. That is so
it's the
true.
truth.
It's so true.
And that's what it is. And that's, and I think there's a lot of things that are going on out there, the reclassifying and staying back and to get the edge over the next kid and everything else. People ask me all the time, I don't believe in that. I believe you got to work hard and earn it at your age, period. Earn it at your age and work hard. And that's just how I feel. I know I am not of the norm. I know I am definitely making people shaking their heads right now again
Oh
too,
yeah,
but that's
that's
just
a
how I
good thing.
feel. That's just how I feel, and I've always felt that way. I mean, Trey Lowe. Let's look at Trey Lowe, and he was one of the best players to come out of Ewing, and he did it at his own age. He did not stay back. He did not reclassify. He pushed himself. He
Yeah,
played against older guys. He went in the gym after practice for 2 more hours. He was in the gym 4, 5, 6 hours a day to
yeah,
make himself better.
yes,
And played against, grown men to make himself better. And I think, kids don't want to put in all that time. They say they do, but a lot of kids don't.
yes. And for our audience sake, those who don't know who Trey Lowe is a Ewing Township, New Jersey product that played his basketball at Temple University in Philadelphia, PA. And he's homegrown. And
Yes.
you're absolutely right. And you also touched on something else before we close out. We got a couple of minutes here. The loyalty.
Yes.
We played. I didn't want to play with Shelley coming up. I want to beat Shelley. You know what I mean?
Right.
Today,
Right.
everybody wants to join up because that's what they see, quote unquote, in the NBA. They
Yes.
join forces
Yes.
with this guy in
Mhm.
order to win. That's why I respect Anna Kupo, uh, Giannis from the Milwaukee Bucks, the Greek.
Right, right, right.
He says, "Look, I don't want to come and practice with y'all in the summer. You know, I'm not joining you in no way, shape,
Right.
or form. I'm going to beat you when I see you on the court, and I'm going to work out my own little schedule of getting player development and getting better. So that's respect. And
Yeah.
today, everybody wants to team up and join with this person, and to me, it's kind of punkish. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't
I
be
think, and if you see that, like in Ewing and things like that, again, we'll talk about Trey again, just because he was one of those kids that was being pulled in many directions. Hey, come play here. Hey, come play there. And his loyalty to Ewing was, you know, totally different than most kids.
yeah,
He stayed because he wanted to stay. He was happy where he was, and he told people, "I'm happy. I like it here. I want to stay here." So he could have went anywhere. He was
yeah,
being called upon to go to many different schools every day, but
yes,
he chose to stay. So he was loyal to Ewing,
right.
and that I think Ewing, myself, the coaching staff will never ever forget that he was loyal. He was one of the loyal kids.
Yes, and he could give you 17 points quietly. You didn't even know he
Oh
was.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
he let the game come to him. He was really
yes, he did.
a really good. I had the privilege of interviewing him. I think in the Rick run, yeah, over in
Yes.
West.
Yep.
Yeah, Rick Darley's
Yep.
Rick
We
run.
played down in West at Rick Run all the time. So yeah,
Right.
he
Yeah.
and he loved his teammates. There's not another kid who didn't love his teammates, and his teammates loved him. For the
Yeah.
most part. And I mean, when he went on college trips, he took a different teammate every time, so they could get the experience, which
Kudos.
you don't hear about. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in this last segment here, could you tell our audience what what would you recommend for any student athlete to pursue a high school basketball team and take it to the next level, college, go overseas, so forth? What would you recommend to those that are listening, to the parents and
Okay.
to the youth right now?
The first thing I would do is the easiest way to get into college is through your grades. Through your grades. You have to have great grades. You have to do well in school. And, we're very fortunate at Ewing. We have a 70% or better grade point average. You can't have anything lower than that. That's higher than the NJSIA standards. We had study hall at Ewing High, just like they do in college. So long story short, I think it's easier to get into school if you have good grades. You want to play basketball, that's just an added fact. To get better in basketball, you work hard. You work hard while you're at practice, you work extra, not just going in the gym and shooting, really working hard for 2 hours or, an hour on your left hand, on your weaknesses, not your strengths. Kids go in and they work on their strengths, but everybody has a weakness. So you got to work on that weakness to get better. And parents, be educated about the NCAA rules. Go on ncaa.org
Yeah,
or be cognizant of the rules. They change every year, and don't get caught up in what the college coach is going to say, because some of them are going to try to get you on the rules. Be educated about the rules. Go in and work on your weaknesses, and definitely have good grades in school.
well, that's good. That's good advice. And we're going to hit the post here and make sure we don't get cut off. We've been listening to and watching head coach from Ewing Township High School, Ewing, New Jersey, coach, three-time champion, state champion, Coach Shelley Dearden. I want to thank you for coming on the broadcast today, and much success to you. We know that you're retired, but you're not finished yet.
No, I'm not.
You got a
No,
lot of
I'm
work
not.
to do yet.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate
All
it.
right. Thanks for coming on the air. Everybody knows
Take
the
care.
deal. In the meantime, in between time, everybody knows the deal. This has been the TLV Sports Talk Show. We talk sports. We talk life. We make you visible. We are off like a dirty shirt. Put it in the book.
Bye bye.